So the next woman that is coming to the stage, she rocks. She heals people. I absolutely think she is one of the fastest implementers we have ever had in the history of Speaking Empire. Starting from a college professor, almost from scratch, she was out there healing people that she knew, and then she put her own events on and really started to change lives and change the world. And now she has other practitioners that want to be exactly like her. How many of you are ready to get healed and inspired? Raise your hands and say, "Oh yeah." Awesome. Bring up the amazing and incredible Anastasia, everybody. Come on up, girl. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I am so honored and pleased to be here in front of this really incredible group of people. I've met some of you this weekend already, and I hope to meet many more. And all I have to say is this is the highest quality room I've been in, and I've been to many events over the last 3 years. So today what I'd like to do is offer you 3 really helpful tips. Would that be all right for putting on your events? Yeah. You know, especially if you're just starting out, you don't want to basically blow your entire piggy bank on doing your events. And I'd also like to offer you a couple of gifts. Is that all right too? Awesome. So, as you heard, I have been a physics professor. I've been a physics professor and researcher for the last 40 years. And during that time, I did a lot of professing. You know, that doesn't sell anything. And I knew that. I was at least smart enough to know that. Usually, we smart people are the toughest to teach because we think we know better. Well, when I went through my big transition, like Sonia did, I went through my big transition. I thought I knew better, and I landed on my face so many times with illness, with divorce, with all kinds of medical problems, all kinds of personal problems. You know, does anybody have a challenging parent or a challenging spouse? You know what that's like? So I had a mother that always made me wrong. I think the first compliment she gave me, I was 30 years old. Can you imagine? So anyway, during that time, I did research. What I did was I put little tiny samples of minerals between 2 diamonds. I shined a laser on it, and I watched how the laser light got modulated by the sample, and I studied exactly what the energetics of that material, that information of how those vibrations changed when you put pressure on it, gave me a very good idea of what was happening, not just on the molecular level, but on the atomic level. It was really amazing. And this thing was driven by a curiosity for science that started when I was 7. When I was 7, my dad brought home a map of the universe, and I thought that Earth and everything around us was like this an utterly huge, enormous place. And then I discovered we were just like this tiny speck in the universe, and I stared at that thing and memorized every little bit on it. And I was the only 7-year-old kid that knew that at that time Saturn had 12 moons and rings, and that Mars had 2 moons and Earth had this big giant one. So that's a pretty precocious. And the other thing that I did was I got this book on the human body when I was 8, and it was about that thick. And I still have it. I've read through it thousands of times. So I wanted to know how things work down into the detail level. So what happened, you know, anybody want to know how that transition from physicist to healer happened? Yes. So what happened was I got really sick when I was 40. I was on the top of the world. Everything was working for me. I had this fantastic career. I published papers. I had a marriage that I thought was great. We matched quite well. I lived in Germany. I was running a research group. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars at my command to buy whatever I needed to buy. I got to travel all over the world, and I got really sick. And it wasn't just from what I ate. I ate really well. It wasn't just from what I didn't do. I exercised. I ran 6 miles before breakfast every morning. And I still got really sick. So I knew that there was something more than just what there was to eating or to what vitamins you took or to all of that. And I discovered through that process, somebody introduced me to energy healing. I mean, I know what energy is. Calories, joules, liter atmospheres. You know, those are all units of energy. Energy, it's what you eat and it makes you move. And I thought, energy healing, what's that? So I find that most of us actually are all energy healers. You know, over this period of time, I've discovered that I can, that by doing this energy healing with people and on people, so 20 years ago I discovered this, that things started to really shift. In this last 3 years, I learned techniques that were dealing with your DNA and your cells and all that. You know that we are all walking miracles? Did you know that you have 38 trillion cells in your body? And that each cell has a 100 trillion atoms in it? That is as many stars as there are in 350 of our galaxies in one cell. And there are 9 trillion reactions that happen in every cell in your body every day. Yeah, and all of this without you knowing it, right? Isn't that miraculous? Isn't that incredible? And I grew up with that wonder. Every day I would wake up and think, how incredible is our universe and life? How incredible is it? But we were all born with the same cells, glands, organs, and systems in our body. That means we were all built to heal. It's just that we don't have the instruction manual, do we? So I'm going to show you how you can heal right away. And Sonia, wasn't she wonderful? Yes. How did that make you feel to hear a compliment? Isn't that great? Before I came on, she looked at me and she says, wow, you look really good today. I feel really great. I floated off. You know what the most powerful organ in our whole body is? Does anybody know? It's the most powerful organ. Our body is run by a lot of electrical activity, and it sends out fields, and we feel those fields. And most of our fields end at about right here, right at about 3 feet out from our body. And when I walk up this close to you, we're interacting here. And he's feeling me, and I'm feeling him. But our heart goes out 20 to 30 feet. So when somebody walks in a room and they don't feel very good, and they're angry, and you feel it, you can feel the whole room energy just drop, right? And if somebody directs something angry at you like a curse, you feel like you've been like socked in the stomach. That socking in the stomach, that's an energy suck. That person is dragging it out of you. It's like an energy vampire. And one way that you can stop it really quick is just chop it. As soon as you do that, it stops that negative energy flow. Just chop it 3 times. So when we give compliments to one another, like you walk up and you say, wow, that's a really flattering dress on you. And it is. And you look really wonderful today. Or walk up to somebody and say, I love you. Isn't that great? Does everybody feel that energy change? Would everybody like to try it on everybody else? Yeah, everybody stand up. Let's raise the energy of the room. So turn to your neighbor and repeat after me. You are amazing. And give them a high five. You're amazing. You're amazing. Yeah, so that raises our energy. So the first tip that I have for you, you can all sit down. The first tip that I have for you is when you go into a conference and you do your talk, you come to serve because they'll feel your heart. They know what's in it. If you're going in there for selfish reasons, you won't resonate. You need to connect. You need to look at people, and you need to serve. So that's my first tip. So when I did my first event, which was last November, I didn't even think about selling. All I did was wanted to help everybody in the room, and people ran to the back of the room. I sold 60% of the people in the room. So, so there's another way to get rid of that energy, and that's my free gift to you, is that I have an 11-minute audio that you can download and listen to. And some people try to tell you to meditate for an hour a day. Do you have an hour a day to meditate? Me either. So you can text to this number, text the word audio to 936 463 8328. So that's my second tip, is to, I'll repeat the number, 936 463 8328, is to have a prepared number when you get up to give a talk so people can immediately get a gift from them. So, so after I discovered, the things that I was healing, cancers disappeared, tumors disappeared. I had irreparable brain damage, in a coma, was going to die. Doctors said there was no hope. Expect him to die in 3 days. And after 7 hours of brain healing, he woke up 3 weeks later perfectly fine. And when those things started to happen, I was thunderstruck. And I thought, how am I changing lives? I have one woman who had an immune deficiency for 40 years. 40 years. She had to take gamma globulin shots every month. She was on antibiotics almost nonstop. She suffered a lymphoma 2 years ago and barely survived. And now you would not recognize her. Her income has gone up by 50%. She is cheerful, bouncy, has boundless energy. She looks 20 years younger, and none of her relatives recognize her anymore. And when things like that happen, I realized how much lives change and how much people needed to know that you don't have to be sick anymore. Families don't have to collapse down onto the sick person. My mother's been sick since 1971 after really dangerous spinal surgery, and nobody ever asked me how my dad was. They only asked me, how is your mom? Well, my dad suffered a stroke 6 weeks ago because he was too busy taking care of my mom. And people still ask me, how's your mom? And I said, well, my dad's in the hospital. And now he's out of the hospital. I've done a lot of healing on him, and he's 83 years old today. He's 83 years old. And in 6 weeks, he's gone from limp on the left side, not being able to move, not being able to speak, to standing on a cane. So that's how miraculous this can be on a very old person. And I don't call that very old because I'm not that far behind. So anyhow, so I needed to get that out to the world and tell everyone. I call the method that I use the diamond healing method. Get healthy no matter what your doctor says. I'm the creator of that method. I've mixed in science with an ancient energy healing technique, and it works really, really well. And so I came here to learn how to do that, because I knew that teaching wasn't going to do the job. So I did everything they told me to do. I just followed through. They said, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, and you're going to do that. And I said, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, did it. And so that's my third tip for you, is to just follow instructions. Don't say yes, but don't think you know better. They've got this thing wired. So my second gift to you is that I am doing an event here in 2 weeks, and you are welcome to come as my guest. They're normally $97 tickets, so come and get a free ticket from me, and you can see how to put on an event that won't break your piggy bank. And if you want to start small, this will be a small event, and it's happening by the LAX airport. And so would you like a bonus tip? Yeah. Okay, so my bonus tip to you is, once you set the date, set it at least 2 months in the future. Once you set the date, don't cancel it, right? Just hold the date. When that date approached, I was nervous. I didn't know what I was going to say or how I was going to do it, but I scripted it out, just like I scripted out today's talk. I scripted it out, and I just followed the script, and it worked. And would you like a bonus gift? Anybody interested? So anybody in the room, I would be happy to do a 20-minute discovery session with you if you have a health problem or any kind of issue. One of my strengths is relationships because I've had enough of them. Been divorced many more times than I'd care to admit. And and I'm married now for the 4th time to this wonderful, wonderful guy. And it's wonderful. So things can happen even when you're over 60. So we dated in high school. We didn't see each other for 43 years. He found me on Facebook only because Facebook does this thing, you may know this person. You ever heard that? Have you ever gotten that? Yeah? You may know this person. And my face appeared with my one-of-a-kind name. And he started writing, and 13 days later, he proposed. And then he moved from Houston. Yeah, he knows what he wants. And he moved from Houston, and now he does all the techie work that I used to do. I mean, I'm a recovering geek. I'm really an introverted geek, seriously. So, so anyhow, those are my tips and the bonus. And I hope you have invested in yourself or take the move to invest in yourself and change the world with your message. It's really important. I'm Dr. Anastasia Chopelas, and it's been an honor speaking with you today. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Excellent job.